Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for Friday, August 23rd, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card we are pulling for today is, we've got here our Hanged Man, and it's in its upright. So masculine and feminine energy deep within the divine union frequency right now. This is starting to feel like I need to stress this. One of the things about this particular retrograde, it's been slow. I know it's been slow. Everything may be feeling like it's moving at a snail's pace. Why are we feeling so much of this energetic slowdown right now? Because one of the things that the retrograde likes to do is it likes to create those spaces and places that finds new ways to challenge us. It creates those opportunities or experiences where we move out of our comfort zone. It effectively helps us identify our own vulnerabilities. It's giving that space of, again, working through situations and circumstances in a way. Things feel like, again, we look at it, we see things breaking, we see things not going the way they do. But sometimes the only way that we can identify the difference between a rut and a groove is what we do when things stop moving at their natural rhythm, right? So we see even now that there's something very important that's been happening specifically during this retrograde period that has to do with the slowdown. It's been a very slow retrograde. It may be feeling like things are moving much slower. It may be feeling like communication is coming through much slower. It may be feeling like everything is taking a lot longer. Now, again, what have we been speaking about in relationality to that retrograde period? That's why it's really important. Like the message that keeps coming through with this retrograde is not to take that slowdown personally, but to get productive. Because being able to utilize that, being able to navigate through it, recognizing the opportunity that occurs in those experiences, allowing oneself to become more productive, allowing that opportunity to build into it, utilizing that energetic time to the best of one's advantage, as opposed to deciding or determining that need or desire to want things on one's own timeline. We see even now like a lot of that work is building into pathwork of purpose, because when we navigate from a place of pathwork of purpose, we don't do it based upon the energy, the ego. The ego wants things quickly. The ego wants things when it wants them, right? The ego is very much often reflecting a lot of those characteristics that we often see in the unhealed inner child, right? The ego can be very energetically demanding. So these modalities that we've been hitting so much or so frequently during this particular retrograde, that ability to identify and recognize that, not to hold, not to try to protect the energetic ego, but rather coming into that experience or that space or place of remembering that the ego is not there to be protected. The ego is there to protect. We see even now that this is a lot of that energy within the divine union frequency that is recognizing that this is a lot of work that is based upon and built upon patience and perseverance. What does one need in the pathwork of purpose? You need patience. You need perseverance. And so this was something that was a little bit more difficult for masculine energy. Earlier on within this retrograde cycle, we saw that there was a lot of restlessness that was occurring for masculine at this time. Masculine's getting more energetically comfortable in this space right now, which is funny because now it's about to end. While for feminine, this is requiring more of that sense in trusting in one's own self, building into a point of confidence. Because if these are modalities where feminine, we saw masculine getting more frustrated. We saw feminine doubting themselves more along the way. So for a lot of the feminine energy right now and masculine, having those experiences, having those modalities, doing this really effective work, this is what's building into that. And this is that, like right now, patience is key. navigating, maintaining that point of patience, not allowing oneself to be energetically triggered. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, this is coming into divine union. This is coming out of your comfort zone. This is the energy that we saw because we were recognizing the two different modalities that were happening for energy coming into divine union right now are either those experiences or those scenarios or situations wherein conflict was emerging. But the ability to feel the productivity in conflict, to recognize the changes necessitated within oneself that you may not necessarily would have even identified or defined had it not been for connection to counterpart. This is a lot of the energy that's setting themselves on that pathwork of commitment, implementing those changes. And what's appreciated here is we see that a lot of the energy is feeling the energy that is also doing same. So even here, there's a lot of this energy that may be doing something in a way that they haven't before, simply because they don't feel like they are alone in the process of doing it. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union right now, this is a lot of that energy that is making the changes to their manifestation goals because of the combination of the expression of emotionality combined with the ability or the desire to prioritize building forth together by the articulation of the changes that is going to require going forward. So we see even now, there's a lot of that energy that's going through the trust process of energetic commitment, feeling that sense of speaking towards something, but also taking a little bit of that wait and see attitude, as it were, to navigate forward. And that's requiring a trust not only in the counterpart, but also in an ability to navigate one's own abandonment wounds in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, a lot of this work that we're seeing that is occurring right now in separation has to do with recognizing and identifying whether there's pathwork that has possibility, or whether there's something here that you may just feel like the clarity is potentially coming in the recognition of an energetic impasse. What do I mean by an energetic impasse? Well, we spoke a lot about the fact that there's basically, for the energy in separation right now, if there's been an expression of emotions that is either leading to one or two different modalities, either the expression of the emotions, seeing and recognizing the differences in the desired manifestation goals. The moment that those are articulated, the moment they become healed, the moment healthy separation occurs. But that allows for a moment of healing, because that is the energy that is maybe feeling a lot of that bittersweetness in understanding the circumstances are what the obstruction is, not taking something personally. Or if these are energies where someone is just expressing emotions, but not giving clarity as to what the long-term plan or path work is, there could be a lot of energy that's coming into separation, because that's that modality of feeling like the expression of the emotions are not something that feels like an energetic gift so much as it feels like a burden. Second card in our 5-card spread for today is, we've got 2 cards coming out today. We've got here the Justice in its reversal and our 7 of Wands in its upright. This is that acknowledgement point. I gotta say, there's just some energy in separation that is coming towards the hard truth that at times someone can have a lot of emotions for you, but don't necessarily want to build with you. They could have a lot of desire for you, but they might not have a desire to build with you. So we see even now, or they might not necessarily even have the clarity to be able to build forward towards it for themselves. So we see even now that for a lot of this energy, this could even be like, I want to say, this could be a little bit of conflict space that is potentially occurring here, that I'm seeing in separation. Because if there's something here where someone is asking for that clarity and they're not able to receive it, in that modality, we saw some of the friction that may be occurring is in the believability of being able to recognize and identify something and say to oneself, is this coming from a place of authenticity? Because if you're asking someone for what their manifestation goals are, and they say like this, there's a lot of that energy that's trying to parse out whether they believe that's energetically true. Someone who doesn't know what their own future should hold, versus the energy that may be trying to articulate and say that this is a lot of that energy that may be feeling the frustration or the amplification of someone saying that they have an enormity of feelings for oneself, but not expressing that in any way that feels like it is productive, not creating a space where someone can safely hold them. Because when someone gives you their emotions and they articulate upon their emotions, but they don't build forth with you in terms of saying what that means or describing that manifestation goal, this could be a lot of the energy that may be going through those difficult conversations of saying to someone, you want something from me, but you don't want to give towards me. You desire something of me, but you're not trying to give forth towards the energetic connection. So we see even now, there could be a lot of this push and pull that may be occurring in some of these modalities in separation right now. And some of it may feel very heavily triggered. Some of it may feel like there's the expression or the expansion point of something here where they're articulating. And I told you, some of the energy in separation has been like giving someone or something the benefit of the doubt to trying to articulate through a situation of this nature to try to get that type of clarification. And so we see even now, if those modalities are reaching moments of too much resistance, too much argumentation, what we're effectively seeing that may be occurring here is that a lot of this work that we're identifying at this time, this could be the energy that's kind of calling someone out on that. This could be the energy that said, like almost saying to themselves in separation, I've seen enough to be able to articulate upon what it is that you're providing and what it is that I've determined that I desire. So we see even now, this is more of that energy of the resistance in terms of maintaining and holding the energetic standards. Because there may be a lot of energy that may be saying in separation right now, you desire something, but you're not navigating in a way of being energetically mindful of of my standards, right? So we see even here that there's a little bit of this, like, I want to say this, like push and pull that I'm seeing right now in separation. Now, for some of the energy in separation, if this is clarity, if this was clarity given, this is still a push and a pull, but it's a healthy push and a pull. It's the heart opening, because it's the observation of trying to see and articulate and say to oneself, that person desires something different than what I want. So what is happening right now for some of that energy and separation? If there's emotionality there, but the recognition of different manifestation goals, this could be some energy going through a little bit of internal tumult, determining and saying, is that really my manifestation goal? Is my manifestation goal changeable? Is that something that I can change? Is there a modification point here? So that's a little bit more internal, but it's healthy. You can see how it's healthy. It's introspective because it doesn't feel like something that is being withheld. It feels like something that is being, like perceived, looked at, like turned around to try to see if there's a way of making the manifestation goals fit. But for other parts of energy and separation right now, there could be a lot of energy that if someone isn't giving what someone else is asking for, this could be one of those days of someone saying, I've seen enough. Like, I've recognized enough. I see the lack of clarity is the clarity. While continuing for the energy coming into divine union right now, a lot of this energy coming into divine union right now, I'm just simply seeing, this is a lot of that work that we're recognizing here. And this is the tumult of the changes of the self that you may not necessarily have moved toward were it not for the counterpart. Because we just have to be honest, like when we move into divine union, it does require changes within the self. It does require modifications, but those are the modifications that we move towards joyfully, willingly, right? Because that's that recognition point of what it feels like when you move towards divine union. It doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It feels like that joyful movement into something that allows for that point of adjustment, because one's priorities change in such a way that the prioritization point becomes in the value and the integrity of what you're creating with another. That creates that ability to see aspects of the self that you could not see in the process. So for some of the energy moving deeper into divine union, this is that this is either the energy that's just moving into that shift point, that are articulating what those changes are, i.e. articulating what the changes towards each's unique manifestations goals are, to unify the manifestation goals as you go forward, the commitment. Or these are energies that have recognized through a moment of conflict aspects of the self that they never would have changed were it not for the value and integrity of the partnership. And that's the gift of the partnership itself, because these are the energies deep within the divine union that are unlocking and recognizing things that they may have never felt or recognized they even had to change or desired to change or saw that they needed to change. The beauty of the partnership itself is casting a gaze inward beyond one's own perception via the ability of acting as a clear mirror. It's like you ever put a couple of mirrors together? You ever put a bunch of mirrors together and you go vroom, and all of a sudden you can see like suddenly those two mirrors, if at just the right angle, everything gets a lot deeper. It's a little bit like that. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here our Hermit card in its upright. A lot of introspection today, but this is beautiful. Listen, this is beautiful introspection. This is a nice quietude energy, because what we're really seeing right now is a lot of the energy deep within the divine union frequency, that point of perception, that ability to introspect upon the self to a heightened degree. This is the energy receiving the gift of being within the divine union. Because this is not energy that feels like they forfeited solitude for the sake of moving into an energetic connection. This is the energy that is finding a more profound level of solitude than they could ever find when in solitude, because it is the introspective solitude that is created in being alignment with a counterpart that helps you come into a deeper understanding of the self in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into the divine union, this is the energy that may be feeling more of that sense of like taking the energetic risk right now, because these are the energies that are just in the moment or modality of aligning those manifestation goals. These are the energies that are just coming into that ability to identify and articulate, because if these are energies that are more akin to moving in point of solitude, these are energies that are looking right now to articulate what that commitment is towards one another, while working and wrestling with the abandonment wound, or that sense of, again, taking the time, building that trust in relationality to what you aspire and desire going forward versus where you are in the present. This is why it's so important. If you want to build partnership with someone, you have to be comfortable with learning how to tell someone what you dream. How can you build something with someone if you don't feel the comfortability point in speaking towards what you dream? What else is manifestation but being able to articulate on what you dream? So we see even now the difficulty that may be happening right now for some of the energy in separation. And this is why I see there's some frustration here. Because if these are situations and circumstances, now the energy that's just spreading off because they recognize that they have different dreams, that's why this is healing. That's why this is peaceful. This is why this is restorative, because this is the energy that's coming into separation and going, I have a lot of feelings for that person, but we have different dreams. And when we have compassion for someone, when we have love for someone, that love is the desire and aspiration of someone to pursue their dreams. So we see even now that for a lot of that energy moving in that modality, that's why this becomes the separation that feels like a point of personal expansion, because this is the energy that says, I don't want to stand in the way of that person's energetic dreams. I don't want to pull them off of their path. While for the energy right now that is trying to articulate to someone and having someone say to them, this is how I feel about you, these are like the energies that are having two different conversations, because we do see there may be some confusion right now. And this is why I keep saying this to masculine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, and it's not all masculine energy. If there's masculine energy here that is just articulating how they feel without telling feminine what they dream, this is the feminine saying, if this is masculine saying, I'm trying to commit to you because this is how I feel. Feminine saying, that's not a commitment. What do you dream? What do you dream with me? Don't tell me how you feel about me. Tell me what you dream with me. So we see even now there's potential miscommunications that are happening during this retrograde period between what is being identified as commitment. For some masculine energy right now, there may be a misunderstanding that articulating how you feel is not the same as commitment, because commitment is telling someone what you dream. And so we see even now, this could be a lot of that butting of heads between masculine saying to feminine, I'm committing to you. My emotions, I'm committed to you. My emotions are committing to you. And the feminine saying, your emotions are adaptable. Your emotions can change on a dime. What do you dream about? Where do you want to go with it? Where do you see us? Because these are the energies that are having a conflict right now in relationality. And that's why we see there may be some energy right now that may be confusing. I can see energy being like, they're breaking up with me, I'm breaking up with them. And then being like, no, it's because you guys are trying to bring each other things, but not recognizing they're not the same thing. For masculine, recognize the feminine does not see the expression. I know that some of the masculine energy right now is having a breakthrough and going, oh my God, I can talk about how I feel. This is amazing. Feminine's always been able to do that. So for a lot of the masculine energy, that ability of saying to feminine, this is how I feel. Remember, that's not, feminine does not consider the way you feel a commitment. A commitment is when you tell the feminine not how you feel about them, but what you dream about with them. So we see even now, there's a lot of that energy that may be saying like, and this is the hard part, if someone's not receiving this is the energy going, I don't know if they can't see it, or I don't know if they're reluctant to say it, right? And that's where we start getting all this unhealed nastiness, all these karmic burdens. They all come from a lack of clarity as to what's going on. They all come from the modality of confusion. So we see even now there's the energy. The only difference here that I'm seeing in separation is energy's getting a little bit clearer to it and going, I'm not walking into confusion. I'm not going to walk into confusion. Because that's where the unhealed karma comes from. Fourth card in our 5-card spread for today is, we've got, you see this, for like austerity, man. This is like so much austerity for energy that's in separation right now, because this is the energy that's basically saying clarity or nothing. Give clarity, or because this is the expression point, and this is the confusion that may be happening here. If masculine's coming towards feminine and saying, this is how I feel, feminine saying, but not saying this is what I dream, this is feminine saying, you're asking me to hold that for you. You're like, you don't want to hold your emotions. You're giving them to me to hold. You're giving me an energetic problem to solve. It doesn't create weight. It creates an anchor. It creates confusion. It holds me in place. It doesn't give me wings, right? This is a lot of the feminine saying, are your emotions that you're giving me, are these an anchor, or are they wings? Is this something that can help us move forward, or are you giving them to me to pin me in an energetic place? So we see even now, like that conversation of bringing something into productivity. This is what's refining and defining a lot of the energy and separation as it relates to the nature of what the quality and characteristics of the relationship itself would be. Because this is a lot of the energy that's not assuming that all relationships are inherently equal. These are energies in separation right now that are utilizing a lot of introspection into looking at the qualities and characteristics of the connection itself to navigate and understand how the relationship itself operates. So we see even now that there's a lot of energy in separation that is navigating the integrity of the energetic connection, rather than just moving into connection and assuming everything will just kind of work itself out. While for the energy coming into divine union right now, these are the energies that are making those accommodations. These are the energies that are navigating those spaces and places and coming into that point of understanding and articulating what those personal changes are that are going to help facilitate navigating those dreams together. While for some of the energy right now, deep within divine union, that ability of recognizing and identifying, seeing the changes within the self that are occurring that you might not necessarily have even seen within yourself were it not for being in that healthy energetic connection, that healthy partnership. This is a lot of energy that's making, like, these are the personal commitments that we make to ourselves in a healthy connection, because the prioritization point is such that we navigate forward in such a way that this is the energy that's integrated the lessons with the counterpart within the self. Like, they're holding themselves to a different energetic standard, and the energetic standard is the connection itself. Fifth card in our 5-card spread is High Priestess in its reversal. This is the challenge point right now for masculine and feminine. We've seen this card coming up in its reversal throughout this retrograde period. Masculine, this patience is creating restlessness, but it's creating a lot of introspection. Feminine's doubting themselves in the process. Feminine, don't doubt yourself through this. Don't doubt yourself. That's why we saw so much of feminine energy talking to other feminine energy, because this is feminine energy fact-checking their own logic to a certain extent, right? Remember, I'm going to say this again. Remember, the retrogrades are slow periods. Don't take it personally. Identify the nature of a circumstance. Don't assume it's within your, like, recognize what's in your power to change versus what's in your power to navigate. So we see even now a lot of this frustration with this slowdown. It's funny because feminine entered this being very practical. Feminine is leaving this retrograde exhausted by being practical. Masculine entered this retrograde restless, and now the masculine is leaving feeling much more contemplative and secure. So, like, the energies coming out are a little bit different right now. So if you're a feminine energy right now navigating this, like, make sure you're giving yourself some time to, like, relax. Make sure you're taking some time for yourself, because I really see a lot of this feminine energy right now banging their heads against the wall to a certain extent, because it's not you, it's the retrograde. Just remember that. The energy coming into divine union right now, this is the trust exercise. Because again, if these are energies that are articulating what those changes are, but they haven't seen them put into action, feminine and masculine navigating those abandonment wounds. Feminine's looking towards masculine and saying, I hope I can trust this person. Masculine looking towards feminine and saying, I hope I need to show this person by moving forward in a tangible way to show them that I'm not just saying things. I'm planning on putting them into action. Because I see that a lot of the masculine energy coming into divine union right now recognizes that feminine is not in a modality of trusting easily right now. And I'm going to say a lot of masculine understand why. And a lot of masculines, like, for good reason. For masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, this could be, I see here, this is either two different modalities of two energies. And this is the healed side of this. Two energies that appreciate each other, look each other dead in the eye and say, we want different things. Our dreams do not merge. And I'm not going to require one to abandon, one is not going to have to abandon for the other. So those are the energies that are coming into that healthy separation. But that's why, if these are modalities where someone is asking for clarity as it relates to the manifestation goals, and someone is deflecting, someone is arguing, someone is making something much harder than it needs to be. This is a lot of the energy, particularly feminine, that may be calling that out today. This is a feminine that may have been utilizing this time, I told you, giving someone the benefit of the doubt, and now just saying, well, this is my observation based upon what I have not been told, based upon what I'm not receiving back, based upon what you're not giving. This is the feminine energy that's learning that's not doubting themselves if they're asking for something and they're not receiving it. This is feminine energy that is filling in the blanks in relationality to what they're being given versus what they're not, right? This is the feminine utilizing that power of observation. For masculine, this is why it's so important right now, if you're in that modality, if you're feeling like that anxiety to articulate what those manifestation goals are, you know, this could be leading to a lot of introspection. Because if this is feminine that's saying to masculine, you're not giving me what I need to be able to facilitate a safe, healthy connection with you going forward, this could be a lot of that masculine energy going into introspection and understanding, and the feminine almost articulating, saying, do you see the position you're asking me to put myself in? Like a lot of the feminine being like, you're asking me to give you my heart, and I'm asking you what you're going to do with it, and you're saying, I don't really know, I just want it, right? Like this is a feminine being like, that's nuts. Continuing to see clarification on these cards right now between the Hangman, our Seven of Wands in its upright, and our Justice card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through the Sun right now in its reversal. It's heavy energy today. You know, there's some doubts, some fears, some frustrations coming to the surface. This is like, I gotta say this is like the dregs of the retrograde. Like just so, it's like there's a little bit of exhaustion here because it's been going on for a bit. Remember, we're almost out of it. Like we're almost out of it. Just a few more days left. Okay, just a few more days left. Make sure that you're doing, like, focus, like, I don't want to sound like a cliche, but focus on the positive right now. Do the things that make you happy. Build, like, it's not, like, I feel like there's some energy here that is feeling like it's self-indulgent to do something that genuinely gives you joy. It's for that reason and that reason alone, I want you to do that. I want you to be indulgent today. I know that Leo season just ended, but like, you know, give yourself a little bit, like, you don't have to like do anything like crazy, but like do something here that's going to like lift your energetic spirits a little. Make sure that you're giving yourself like a little bit of that quality time. Because I see even now, this is the Virgo season coming in. This is the Virgo season going, I don't feel deserving of taking an indulgence. You know what I mean? Like this is a little bit of that, like that difficulty. This is like a little bit of that difficulty of being like, you know, everyone else can, but not me. I just have to keep working. So, and that's for masculine and feminine right now within the divine union. The energy coming into divine union, this is the perception of how much one is changing. And this is why, like, this is the energy that is almost on that path of improvement for the sake of the energetic. I'm going to say this. This is the energy on the path to improvement for the sake of an energetic connection that is not demanding of it. These are not energies that demand change within one another. This is energy that feels the beauty of a connection such that one is constantly working on one's own self because of the ease of the connection. And if that's confusing, I want to say it's because you don't have to work so hard in maintaining the energetic connection. It gives you more time to work on the self. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, a lot of this work that we're seeing that's occurring right now is the energy that is committing to those changes to be able to facilitate into a connection. And that's why this is a little bit of a nail biting time, because this is the energy that may be speaking towards those things, but they haven't necessarily put them into action. So this is a little bit of that trust test that's occurring right around like this conclusion of the retrograde that may feel a little exhaustive and difficult, because there's a little of this energy right now that's starting to have to operate in that space of belief at a moment that it's hard to be hopeful. It's hard to be energetically hopeful to a certain extent. While for masculine and feminine energy that's in separation right now, this is energy calling it out. I gotta say right now, this could be some This is either the energy that's feeling the sadness and recognizing someone has a different manifestation and just feeling the heart opening of navigating that with a bit of heaviness, while also asking oneself how firm one is to one's own manifestation goals. Or this is the energy that is potentially, I feel like a lot of severed connections at this point, if someone is asking for clarification on pathwork going forward and not receiving it. Because there's a lot of energy right now in separation that's recognizing the difference between an energetic connection that feels like there's wings to it, something that moves forward, something that's got productivity, versus something that just feels like it's an anchor. It doesn't give clarity as to what it's going to be. It doesn't give clarity as to what it is. It just articulates from the place of what one feels. Feelings are adaptable and changeable, so they can change at any moment. So it's almost just that sense of holding space or holding something for someone. I see a lot of energy at this point, potentially just letting some of that go. But even in the letting of that go, it's bittersweet, because even in that modality, it's the recognition as to why that feels like there's that heaviness, because it was the clarification that was requested that was not received. Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Wands, our Justice in its reversal, and our Hermit card in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Emperor. Prioritization, 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 prioritization. And there's a lot of energy right now. This is different right now for masculine and feminine in separation. For the energies that have just decided to go separate ways because there's a determinative point as to their manifestation goals being different, healing. Security, potentially even a possibility of coming back together in the future if those manifestation goals change, because there's something here that feels a little open-ended, but it's healing at the same time. But if these are modalities where someone is holding firm in terms of not giving clarity, this is potentially energy that is observing that and saying that holding firm and not giving clarity is not waiting. It's showing you the nature of the relationship. This is the energy that recognizes that you don't wait for a relationship. You're always in a relationship. A relationship is always existent. The minute you come into energetic contact with someone, you're in a relationship. It's understanding the quality and nature of the relationship. So if this is energy that is asking for clarity on what a relationship is or where it's going, and someone is not giving clarity, this is the energy saying that is the relationship. That's not something that you're waiting upon. That is the relationship. Those are the terms, those are the conditions of the relationship. So we see here that this is potentially a lot of that feminine energy that is articulating and observing that, if that is the case. To get that, and this could be that moment of saying if that's the qualitative, if that's the nature of it, then that is a modality that, again, the feminine is building personal insight on the quality and characteristic of the connection, not based upon the fact that someone is articulating it to them, but because they're filling in the gaps on what is not being expressed. Particularly and especially if this is the feminine asking for such. So we see even now, this may be a lot of that feminine energy and separation articulating to masculine, potentially even about experiences from the past. And this is how the past becomes helpful, because this is feminine energy saying to masculine to a certain extent, again, you can desire feminine, but that doesn't mean that you desire to want to build with feminine. You can articulate how you feel about feminine, but that's not asking for the feminine to grow with you. That's asking for the feminine to be at your disposal. To be at your disposal. Disposal being the difference, the opposite of commitment. Disposal means that you can let something go at any moment. Commitment means you hold on to something at all costs. So we see even now that there could be a lot of the energy right now in separation, articulating between the difference of feeling like you are at someone's disposal whenever it suits them, as opposed to being in someone's energetic commitment. They prioritize you above all else. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Hermit card in combination with our Four of Pentacles. May I have one card to clarify? clarification coming through right now with our Ace of Wands. And so this is the feminine energy that, again, masculine and feminine energy, there could be a lot of these conversations right now that are potentially occurring in relationality to, again, what is happening within those energies. Now, again, the healing thing that we're seeing here, because there is a lot of energy in separation right now that may be healing, is getting that clarity, being able to build from a place of openness, right? When we build from a place of openness, these are the energies that are expressing upon what their desires are in a relationship. And the healing comes from the authenticity. The healing comes from the ability to articulately or accurately express what it is that we aspire and desire with another, that allows us to feel that sense of moving from a facilitation point and recognition of choice. However, and again, this is where I see a lot of energy that may be just kind of cutting things off to a certain extent here. If this is energy where something is being requested in that way, and someone is not eager to articulate upon something, someone won't provide that clarity or context. This is the energy saying that is the clarification. That the ability to not speak towards something, or the refusal to, is articulating upon the nature of something, because not only is it creating a space or place of confusion, but it's not creating a space or place of choice in the process. So we see even now that there could be a lot of that energy just coming into the recognition point of what one chooses or determines is not built upon waiting for something to change, but accepting the state or space of what something is, that's helping build upon that sense of understanding. And this is the energy that's just kind of coming to terms to a certain extent to recognize and identify. And for some of the energy right now, that is potentially the clarification between the ability for someone to talk towards what it is that they aspire and desire in whatever form, which is the gift we give one another via the articulating and saying that that is commitment, versus the lack of commitment being and having an inability to articulate about what something is going to be going forward, which is the desire to have someone at one's disposal, being able to move towards them and move away from them at one's own discretion. Well, for a lot of this energy right now that is coming into divine union, this is really beautiful, because we're seeing even now that so much of this energy that is coming into divine union right now, this is that work. This is that energy that is recognizing, and this is either the energy that is recognizing and identifying, moving away from their own solitude. And in a way, like recognizing the changes that are to be implemented or made there, that are allowing for that moment or that ability to break through. And this is the energy that, again, is looking towards. This is masculine, articulating about what that commitment is. And this is masculine looking towards feminine and saying, I know you don't energetically trust this right now. I know that you may even have experiences from the past that have eroded your ability to trust. But that's why we see so much of this healed masculine coming towards feminine going, I'm not going to put you in a space that you have to trust me. Because the way I can show you that you can trust me is by proving to you that I am someone who is trustworthy, because my word is my bond in my actions. That this is the masculine energy and a point of healing, saying, I don't say what I don't mean. I don't mean what I don't say. If I've said something to you, that is something that we are acting upon, because this is the energy of the masculine that holds themselves to the energetic standard that the feminine can then match. While for masculine, but it is a process of trust. While for masculine and feminine energy, and this is the masculine, it recognizes and says, I know I have to put the words to the action, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming in, that is deep within divine union, this is a lot of the energy that even within the divine union, like the beauty of that divine union is you found a deeper level of solitude with the self, because it is the solitude that one builds forthwith with being with an energetic counterpart in alignment to oneself that allows that freeness. It frees you up because you're not struggling to wonder where you are with someone, that builds that framework of energetic safety that allows you to go deeper within the self in the process. And we see even now, this retrograde period, this is the only thing that's frustrating about this retrograde period. masculine energy came into this energy really restless, and I feel like they're coming through very secure. Feminine came through very practical, and feminine's coming out of it a little bit more energetically exhausted, right? But even here, I think that there's a lot of that path work, because feminine is working, masculine's learning on is working on learning. Listen, masculine's learning to be patient. When you're learning to be patient, the gift is patience. So it's usually like a good thing, but feminine is doing a little bit more strength training right now. Feminine is learning to trust themselves and trust the process. So that can sometimes feel more like you're running a race and you're feeling very frustrated, but even like feminine's learning to trust the process, even at moments that they doubt themselves. That's hard work. Continuing to get, and this is funny because now feminine is leaving the retrograde restless, right? Continuing to get clarification between the Four of Pentacles in combination with the High Priestess in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming. Whoop! The flying card. The flying card. We've got here our Seven of Swords in its upright. But you know, here's the important thing about this. What's really, I have to stress this right now, something that's really important that's happening is, and it's not surprising to see this card coming up during these retrograde periods. Masculine's ability to come into divine, like masculine's ability to build into a deeper sense of patience right now. All of this is happening at a moment or within an experience where the masculine may be recognizing the spaces and the places in the past where they felt like this. They did not feel so energetically peaceful. Like a lot of this work that we're seeing right now around masculine could be those modalities of experiencing those places in the past where you didn't feel this energetically peaceful. And so a lot of that is the appreciation building forth into divine union of like what, of like the this is that dual path work in terms of not only how far masculine has come, but also how far they've come in alignment with with feminine. Feminine, the thing that's more difficult about this is it's not building into a sense of energetic peace or groundedness. Feminine's going further than they ever have before here. There's a lot of feminine energy right now that is at the culmination point of energetic breakthroughs here. And this is a lot of the feminine energy that may be having those modalities or experiences wherein the feminine is like about to like those experiences in the past where feminine may have felt like they were about to have a breakthrough, but also recognize those moments were often the places and spaces that they doubted themselves the most, right? So we see even here, we see even here that for a lot of that feminine, like that modality of frustration, like this is the feminine that's doubting themselves and saying, should I go back? But this is the feminine going, I should go forward, right? So these are very different lessons that are coming through right now in the collective, potentially for masculine and feminine. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, this is that trust test that we're effectively seeing. Because if these are energies that are not only, if this is masculine that's come towards feminine and not only has articulated how they feel, but what that means in relationality to the pathwork going forward and the changes that they intend to make to be able to move towards feminine, we see even now that there's that feminine that's in that modality of expectation, potentially waiting, right? And there's masculine that's looking towards feminine and saying, I understand your anxiety. I understand your fear. I understand your trepidation. Rest assured, I'm going to show you that this isn't something that you have to kind of hold towards, like in that modality of expectation. I'm going to show you that that is the case. I'm going to move towards you in such a way, because this is how these energies are healing one another in the process. Masculine coming into that modality of the words matching the action. Feminine coming into that modality of trusting towards the masculine. This is how they heal. Whereas if these are situations and circumstances wherein we see and recognize that these are situations in separation. These are either energies. I got to say, there is some healing here in separation. The ability to have an honest conversation, recognize the differences between what you desire and what another desires. Healthy separation, heart opening in the process. Is it painful? Yes, but it's a type of pain that is bearable, because it is the energy that looks from a place of healing and says, I don't want to move them off of their pathwork. I appreciate the honesty that they brought through. I appreciate the compassion in articulating what that was to avoid a situation wherein we would have led each other astray from our own desired ideals. So we see even there, like that sense of nurturing and care is how a lot of energy right now is healing in separation, because in the moment that someone tells you what they want, you see how easy it can be. It becomes your energetic standard going forward. You accept no imitations going forward. So this is the gift that these energies have given to one another, even in that moment of separation, that they will take forward with them as they proceed forward on their journeys. While for energy right now in separation, this is why this could be a very significant separation moment, potentially even permanent, because if these are modalities where masculine is just bringing forth the desire, the emotions, and feminine is saying to masculine, the articulation of your emotions is not commitment. Commitment is speaking towards your dreams with me. What are your dreams? And if masculine saying, this is how I feel, this is my gift to you, and feminine saying, that's not a gift if it doesn't have the dream attached to it. It's just telling me how you feel. It's getting it off your chest. You're doing yourself a favor by doing that. It's not a gift. You're trying to take it and give it to me. This is the feminine saying, what are your dreams? And if this is masculine that is unable to articulate what those are, either from a place of fear or from an inability of not wanting to share what those dreams are with the feminine. The problem is you have to recognize masculine. Feminine cannot tell the difference. Feminine cannot tell the difference between whether you're not able to express those desires because you're too afraid to speak your dreams. You must have bravery if you want to move into commitment. Or if the reason that you are not expressing your dreams is because you feel that there's something about them that the feminine would not aspire and desire for as well. Feminine cannot tell the difference, and they must assume that it is the latter in order to energetically protect themselves and to protect their heart space. So we see even there that could be a lot of energy coming into separation in that experience or in that modality of saying to someone, I'm not going to repeat the mistakes of the past. I'm not going to give you a heart if you're not telling me where you're going with it, if you're not telling me what you're going to do with it. And I'm not going to assume that if you haven't expressed it, that we want the same things. Continuing to get clarification here between our Sun card in its reversal and our Emperor in its upright. One card to clarify, please. We've got here our Nine of Cups in its upright. So I gotta say, a lot of restoration that may be happening right now, even in separation, even in circumstances and situations wherein this may be happening right now. We just see a lot of energy potentially coming into that modality of clarification, just accepting the situation. And this could be a lot of the feminine energy filling in the gaps to a certain extent here, because this is the feminine energy that's almost building into that point of saying, if something is asked for and is not given, even in it not being given, you can draw one's own conclusions, because that's the energy of the feminine saying it's okay to draw one's own conclusion if you give someone the opportunity to give you an answer and they choose not to give it to you. So we see even now that there could be a lot of the feminine energy that's healing, and they got validation from other feminines in that way, saying if you've asked for something and it's not being given, it is fair territory to draw conclusions, because that's all one can do in a place or space where some kind of some clarity is not being given. So this is a lot of the feminine energy that's feeling the sense or the security in being able to draw a conclusion in modalities where they haven't been given the clarity that they need, right? And that's a lot of the energy that's like, this is a lot of that energy of feminine, like looking at those gaps and then being able to like fill in the blanks, if you will. While for masculine energy and separation right now, this could be some of those moments. I do see here some masculine energy working through confidence, working through fear, working through that ability to articulate what those dreams are. Because I see either here, these are either two energies right now still in separation. The energy of masculine articulating to feminine, saying, this is what I aspire. And either feminine looking to masculine and saying, thank you for telling me, this is what I aspire. These are, and even here we see that those may be energies trying to figure out if there's a bridge between. If there's some way to build a bridge between the differentiation between the manifestation goals, because that's what happens. That's what happens when we articulate from a place of openness and clarity. We create the opportunity to potentially build bridges between. Whereas for some of the energy right now that it isn't receiving that, this could be a lot of energy coming into separation by saying, you're not giving me anything that can create something I need here. This is the energy saying, what you're giving me, they aren't tools. The emotions don't build bridges. The emotions require the ability to tell someone what one aspires and desires to do with them. And that's that modality of someone saying, I've seen everything I need to see. You've given me everything I know you're going to give me. I could even see a lot of energy and separation being like, is that all you have to say? Is that it? Like, is that the full expression of what you're trying to bring forward? Because that's the energy saying, okay, you've given me enough that I have to draw the energetic conclusion. So if this is the energy, I'm telling you right now, of feminine, just receiving the emotions from someone, but without the clarity as to what those dreams are, this is a feminine saying, you're not giving me wings, you're giving me an anchor. You don't want a commitment, you want me at your disposal. You don't want to build forth with me, you're telling me something to kind of hold me in place. You're not giving me a gift, you've given me an energetic burden. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. And for the energy coming, the energy coming into divine union, these are all just bridges. I just see bridges and bridges and bridges, things being built, things being understood, breakthroughs happening within the self. But it's all coming from that place of openness, honesty, and clarity. Continuing to get clarification between our Emperor card in our Ace of Wands and its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with Nine of Pentacles in its upright. Masculine and feminine energy and separation. I have to say, this is like, if this is energy and separation, this is either the energy that's had hard, productive conversations and they're on the same page. Even if they're in separation, there's something cathartic about that, because that is the energy that prioritizes one another's peace. Even if it creates separation. That the ability to make sure that, and even here, the ability to make sure that one is on the same page with another opens the possibility for something to change going forward. Or if these are situations and circumstances where masculine has just articulated to feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, how they feel, but not giving any clarification as to what that means going forward. Not giving any articulation as to what that looks like in relationality to shared manifestation goals. And if this is the feminine that is seeking that and is not receiving it, this is the feminine that's effectively saying, I'm identifying the nature and the quality of the relationship that you're not willing to articulate upon. And this is why this is not potentially coming into a space or place of being able to build forth in a positive way. Because if this is the feminine that has to draw their conclusions, that has to do the homework to figure out what masculine is asking for, but will not say they want. This is the feminine energy saying, this isn't something that you're asking me to do willingly. This isn't something that you are acknowledging. This is something that you're not giving me the choice of. This is something that you're asking me to fall into. This is something that you're asking me to just inhabit instead of willingly choose. So we see even here, there could be a lot of the feminine energy, if they're receiving that, saying, I'm good, because the way, and this is what's so difficult about this. This could be some feminine energy in separation saying, I would have been up for whatever you articulated, but it is the way. It is the way you've brought something forth that is requiring the feminine to do all of that work, that the feminine is saying, nothing, like this is almost feminine saying, I see completely what the nature of this is, because it's not one that you're looking towards the feminine like an energetic counterpart. You're looking at them as someone that you're not trying to build with, you're trying to build around. You're not speaking towards, you're speaking around. You're running circles to create a groove as opposed to trying to build a garden with the feminine. So this is a lot of the feminine energy that may be looking at that modality and saying, you know, and I can see a lot of feminine energy here being very like, this could lead to some very difficult conversations here. Because if this is feminine who has to fill in the blanks for masculine, this could be a lot of the feminine energy that may be presenting to them saying, okay, you've told me how you feel. I've asked you for clarification. You haven't given it. Let me give you my perspective. Because that's the energy of the feminine being like, let me show you what I've seen. Like this is the feminine energy that now may be becoming very expressive and saying, okay, would you like my perspective on this situation? So we see that potentially occurring here. For masculine, and continuing here between our Emperor card and its upright and our Seven of Swords. But not all energy's like that right now. I gotta say, that's not the whole energetic connection. Some pockets, right? Continuing to get clarification between Emperor and Seven. Look, and this is why this could be so triggering for feminine, because this is feminine looking at masculine going, I've seen this before. I've seen this show before. I've seen this performance before. I've seen this, right? This is where the gift of the retrograde comes in, because this is the feminine going, I've seen what I can't. This is feminine literally going to some masculine in separation right going now. I've seen what you won't show me before. I've seen what you won't show me before. So this is the feminine now going, oh, goody. Thank you for that past. The clarification is coming forward in the future. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now. Look, you see that? Here it is. Look at all these retrograde cards popping up. The Seven of Swords with the Four of Swords. So this is a feminine going, I've seen this one before. This is feminine going, stop me if you've seen this one before. This is feminine going, I think I've caught this. I think I've seen this. Let me tell you a little. And this is a feminine going, let me tell you a little story about something that happened once. This could be some feminine energy in separation, literally going to someone going, let me tell you a little story about something that happened once. This is the feminine energy going, let me tell you a little story about someone who wouldn't articulate on something. And this could be, and that's why I see even now, if this is not and this is why I warned so much of the masculine energy right now. Making sure not to just come towards feminine by articulating how you feel. Making sure that you are matching that with the ability to articulate what you want to manifest with the feminine. Because I'm seeing here, this is the recoil on that. This is that potential recoil for some of the masculine energy that either, and again, because this is some of that feminine energy and separation that's basically saying to masculine, if I'm asking you what your manifestation goals are, and all you're doing is saying how you feel, but you're not giving any clarity as to what the manifestation goals are. This is feminine potentially saying to some to masculine energy that feminine recognizes the difference between something that is committed, an energetic commitment, the clarity that we give one another in relationality to what we can expect going forward, versus energy that desires and requires someone to be at the disposal of another, which does not give clarity as to the future, just requires or expects someone to be there when someone energetically needs them. And this is a lot of the energy in separation saying being at someone's disposal. It's not that that's not a commitment, but they're not even articulating about the commitment. The modality that someone does not talk about commitment is the modality that someone wants someone at their disposal, but they don't even want to give them the choice to make that determination. So we see even now that for some of that energy, recognizing and identifying that, there's a lot of energy that may be breaking cycles right now. There may be a lot of energy that's saying, I'm not moving into that type of modality, because there's some energy here, and this is the gift of the past that may be coming through. I know you don't like your past until sometimes it gives you something that you need. This is the feminine energy going, I've seen this before, right? And this is the feminine saying, if I see it, now I have to make the choice as to whether I want to willingly repeat it, right? And the difference here for some of the feminine energy is the difference between looking at something in this retrograde that you could not see before versus now seeing it and saying to oneself, do I want to intentionally repeat it? While for some of this energy right now, I do see this is not all of the energy in separation right now. There is some energy in separation here. Healthy closure points. Open communication. And this is what I'm seeing in separation that's really beautiful right now. Masculine, doing that work, saying, I'm not going to repeat the cycle. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to have the bravery to tell you what I desire. I'm going to give you the choice. I'm going to give you that choice. Feminine, seeing masculine, even if they don't want the same things, saying, thank you. Thank you for giving me the choice. Thank you for not repeating an energetic cycle. Thank you for allowing that to be a place where even in the modality of choosing, we become energetically equal. Because even in that modality, there's still some possibility of a true energetic connection going forward, because it is the respect, it is the clarity, it is the compassion that one gives another by articulating upon what one does, like dreams, not hoping someone will conveniently fall into place as a character in your dream, but co-creating that dream with them. This is the energy that even here, anything is possible. Maybe at another time, their paths will cross again. Maybe there will be another moment where what one desires is what another aspires, because they gave each other the gift of articulating what that is. But for the energy that's feeling like someone's asking them to kind of fall in and play a character in their own little manifestation, no. I see a lot of that energy being like, no, thank you. Continuing to get clarification for a lot of this energy deep within divine union right now. This is the energy that's recognizing and working on the self in profound ways. This is the energy that's recognizing their own habits, recognizing their own tendencies, working to improve upon them, and not doing so because it's being demanded by the counterpart. It's because they're in a framework that allows them the space and the peace to become introspective in that way. This is energy that makes the voluntary choice to try to become better because they don't want to be caught in the cycles of the past. Continuing to get clarification between our 9 of Cups. In combination, I love this right now. I love these two cards together. Double 9 energy. Double 9 energy. We've got here our 9 of Cups with our 9 of Pentacles, and it's upright. Clarification coming through right now. Knight of Cups. So for the energy deep within the divine union frequency right now, just the emotional, like this is patience through the retrograde. The retrograde's requiring perseverance and patience. Feminine is doubting themselves. Masculine's learning to be patient. Feminine's learning to be, feminine is learning to move forward despite doubting themselves in the process. Masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now. This is a trust exercise. This is the energy that's having some difficulty right now, because even if these are energies that have articulated what it is that they desire and aspire from the counterpart, this is the energy that says, please let this be a trust fall, not a fall, not a flat fall. Like this is a lot of the energy that's building forth in that way of articulating their dreams and almost saying, like, working through this modality of saying that they're building trust along the way. But a lot of that energy, again, not being triggered, not allowing oneself to fall into the assumption of the past repeating, but allowing that faith and intention to guide you going forward. This could be a lot of the feminine that's feeling a lot of that work in the trust space. Masculine recognizing why they may be encountering feminine in that point of a lack of trust, but almost reaffirming their own energetic commitment to prove to feminine that they're not going to be having to exist in a partnership that requires them to trust but not see. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, I do see some energy here in separation, having productive, peaceful conversations. There's two different pockets that are happening right now in separation. There's a situation here articulating what those dreams are. But look at this. Look what's happening in these modalities where masculine may have a dream, feminine may have a dream. There's room to build. There's consideration here. There's a possibility of change. There's the possibility that something could change because of the openness that these energies are providing one another. These are even energies in separation that are scratching their head going, like, what if I, like, trying to figure out a way to get them to stick together, right? It's only in the modality right now where I'm seeing masculine coming towards feminine from a state or space of just articulating how they feel, but not clarifying what that means. That I see even now a lot of the feminine energy potentially filling in the blanks and saying, let me tell you what I think that you're offering me. And I see feminine kind of reaching like a little bit of this, like at the termination of this like retrograde, being like, I've seen all I need. This is some of the feminine going, I've seen all I need to see. Because this could be a lot of the feminine being like, and this could be a lot of the feminine saying to and this could be masculine in this modality going, do you not believe me? And feminine going, no, I believe you. This is feminine maybe saying to masculine, I believe you integrally. I believe you've got all sorts of emotions. This is feminine saying, I've got all sorts of emotions too. But this could be a lot of the feminine re-amplifying to masculine and saying, the emotions we have are different. They're not the same. Emotions aren't commitment. Commitment is commitment. You can have emotions about all sorts of things. You can't have commitment towards everything. And so this is a lot of the feminine saying, I recognize that you may be completely authentic. I recognize that you may be completely authentic in terms of how you emotionally feel, but that's not the same as the emotion with wings. The emotion with wings. The emotion that has wings, the combination of the emotion with the dream as to what they desire with them. So we see even now that this could be that modality of navigating those spaces and places, saying you're only giving half of the equation if you're just giving the emotion. You have to match it with the manifestation. Continuing to get clarification here between our 9 of Pentacles in combination with our 4 of Swords in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Star in its reversal. And this is why, I'm telling you right now, masculine, and this is why if there's masculine that's going through those issues of fear, having the fear to tell the feminine what you dream, working through that process right now of courage, the recognizing that feminine discovers and feels that vulnerability to be able to articulate your dreams is a sign of the highest strength in masculine. Because the masculine that can navigate that space fearlessly is a masculine you can build and grow with. While we see even now, because if these are modalities where feminine has to fill in the blanks here, and even here, if these are modalities, if these are situations where masculine is telling feminine what their dream is, and feminine saying, that's not really my dream, mine's a little bit over here. Even in this experience, I see that these two energies are looking at each other and going, is there room for change? Is there room for my manifestation? Is there something that we can create that will bring these together? Like these are the energies that are trying to figure that out. It's only in the modality where feminine is experiencing the articulation of the emotions from masculine but not receiving the clarification as to what that means. They're not getting the clarification as to what the manifestation goal is related and connected to the emotions. That the feminine is potentially coming into full separation with masculine, because this is feminine saying, you're not asking me to be a co-creator with you. You're asking me to play a role in your life. You're asking me to just stand within it. You're asking me to be at your disposal. You're not asking to commit with me. This is the feminine saying, you are not looking at me as a person to build with. You are looking at me as an object that you energetically desire. So we see even now that this could be a lot of the feminine energy reaching that point of frustration, because it is in the modality of the masculine not giving feminine a choice in relation. And this could be a lot of the feminine energy that would willingly step into that modality with masculine where the choice given. But it is the lack of choice in the way that the masculine is articulating the emotions, but refusing to clarify as to what the manifestation goal is, that the feminine energy is saying, you're giving it you're not giving me enough to build with. You're just coming into that space of creating something that makes it impossible for me to do anything with. This is the feminine saying, you don't want to build with me, you just energetically want me. You're not saying that you want to grow with me. You're not saying that you want to co-create with me. You're just saying that you desire the space. You desire to inhabit. You desire to be a part. You desire a connection towards. But not in a framework of equality. So we see even here that this could be a lot of that energy trying to navigate that space. Now there is energy right now that's coming into divine union, and what's beautiful about it is this is the energy that's receiving the combination of that. This is the masculine that recognizes how far they've come and being able to not only express what it is they feel towards feminine, but recognizing what that means in relationality to the pathwork changing going forward. This is the masculine that's putting their full double commitment, that double commitment of the expression of the emotions. And then on top of it, the expression of what that means going forward. The emotionality and then the dream. This is the energy. And masculine seeing feminine at a moment of uncertainty in relationality to receiving that. Feminine working through that trust test, and masculine saying, I know you may not trust me in this. I'm focusing my full power and showing you that these are not just words, that there are actions behind these words. So for feminine right now, a lot of that work coming into divine union is a bit of that trust process. For masculine, it's an act of energetic maturation. Because this is the description of the masculine that's recognizing the full tilt of the changes that requires when one commits to that degree. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that are deep within divine union, this is energy that is discovering new levels of solitude within the self that you probably thought that you were going to have to abandon coming into divine union, but you're recognizing that when you're in a healthy, productive divine union, you find a level or degree of solitude that you could never achieve like alone or singularly, because it is building into the framework of feeling the sanctity and the sanctuary of solitude with the combination of an energetic counterpart that creates and facilitates a space in which you can do so. Final card right now between our Knight of Cups in combination with our star energy in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Oh, I like this card here. We've got here our Four of Cups in its reversal. Now, for the energy deep within divine union, I got to tell you right now, the problem, the little bit of this hurdle that we're seeing that's occurring specifically in this retrograde, everything's been moving much slower. You can't take things personally right now. Everybody's going through it. First part of this retrograde was remembering not to take it personally, get productive. Feminine's been getting very productive. Feminine's reaching a little bit of the exhaustion point in the productivity department. Masculine has been learning to be patient throughout this process. Masculine was very restless when we first entered this retrograde. Masculine's coming out of this feeling that sense of the benefit of the patience, right? Like that's the benefit of the patience. Masculine's like, hooray, I've learned patience throughout this process. Feminine is feeling more of that frustration coming out of this retrograde that is bent upon or built upon that need or that desire of having a breakthrough. Because this is a lot of feminine energy that's been putting a lot of work in during this retrograde. And now it's like the feminine kind of wanting to come into that modality of seeing kind of like the fruits of that work, wanting to come into that space or place of being able to feel some of that easement, right? So we see even now, it's like, these are the energies that kind of like need a vacation. This is the energy that like needs a vacation from the retrograde. But one of the things that's really important that we're seeing right now is coming through this and feeling some point of energetic easement today. There's some kind of relief that's coming here for both masculine and feminine. For masculine, the patience itself is the relief. For feminine, I think that a lot of this is, I want to say, getting stuff off your plate, just getting a lot of stuff done. The only thing about it is like feminine's getting a lot of stuff done out of this retrograde, and then they're just feeling a little exhausted on the other side of it. While for masculine and feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. So just be patient right now. I gotta say, we're almost out of this. It's just a few more days. For masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, this is really hard because this is that moment that like feminine is feeling like they have to put their faith in what the masculine is saying. I just see a lot of this energy right now that masculine is potentially articulating not only how they feel, but what they desire in the long term. And feminine is still holding their heart space at a bit of a distance here, because this is a feminine energy that's feeling the excitement of, again, a masculine that is articulating what they want and how they feel. But this is also the feminine that recognizes and identifies that words mean nothing without action. So this is a feminine energy that, again, is feeling that heightened degree of space, but is also like not getting their energetic hopes up to a certain degree. And for masculine, I see masculine moving very swiftly to try to alleviate that, to try to, and that's why it's really important for the feminine not to come into that pathwork of assumption of the past repeating again, but letting that hope guide and letting the perception and clarity of what you're seeing from the masculine. Like they're saying right now, don't let those shadows of the past overrun, let them inform. Now, for a lot of the energy in separation, the shadows from the past, this is one of those moments, the healing that's happening here is something about those shadows of the past becoming kind of like helpful, right? You got these shadows from the past. Suddenly these shadows from the past are shedding light. Are the shadows from the past shedding light now? Is that what's happening? Are the shadows from the past shedding light? Because that's what I'm seeing that's happening right now for a lot of the energy in separation. That's bittersweet, right? That is one of the hardest things to navigate. When the shadows from the past shed light, that's that moment where, again, not that you want to carry those wounds, right? Not that you want to carry them, but suddenly there's something there. And so some of the feminine energy right now, that ability of recognizing something from the past that feels far too familiar. But I got to say, this isn't feminine energy coming into a point of assumption, letting it navigate, letting it inform. This is a lot of the energy that either, again, this is the feminine looking towards masculine and that point of letting it inform, getting clarity, saying to masculine in that moment, thank you for the clarity. Thank you for showing me that you are not like that experience from the past. Thank you for showing me that those doubts were just doubts, right? And in that moment, there's something that immediately heals, because it's not the fact that the feminine built into the pathwork of assumption, but that getting that clarity has reaffirmed the energetic commitment of building forth with a masculine that wasn't operating in that space of like not trying to build with the feminine. coming into that point of equality. Masculine saying to feminine, no, I appreciate that. I would not tell you what my manifestation goals are. This is yours to choose as to whether you want to move forward with me or not, based or built upon where I currently am. So we see even now, this is the energy that even if there's a separation point here, there's still something very integral. There's a lot of care and love here between these energies, because the care and love is expressed in the compassion of saying, I don't want to lead you off of your path inadvertently. The only space I see here that this is potentially leading to full-blown separation is a modality where this was asked for and not given. And if this is a modality where the feminine felt like they had to fill in the blanks, it's in the moment that the feminine says to the masculine, okay, if you can't tell me, this is what I think is happening, that there's full separation here. Because it's in that moment that the feminine has to do that. It's in the moment that the feminine has to present something to masculine that they're not being given, that they've asked for clarity on but have not received, knowing that even in the expression of it, they will not be validated for it. Because why would someone who wouldn't articulate what their manifestation goals are say, yes, that is true, in the modality of you expressing what you've seen? That moment of the feminine saying, the only thing worse than energetically being right is feeling the sense of having to question yourself in the process of being right, knowing that the energy that you're trying to get that clarity from is already giving you indications that they're not willing or able to give that clarity. This is the feminine that's already seeing that confusion and saying, this is confusing. This is a modality of the feminine going, the only thing in this connection is that I will never be in a space or place that feels like I'm valued or seen or appreciated. I'll always be questioning the quality of the relationship. Is not one. If a relationship makes you question yourself, that doesn't fix. It is the nature of the relationship. This is the feminine saying, I'm not accepting a relationship that's just based upon the emotions that makes me question what is occurring. And that's modality of feminine saying, the shadows of the past have shed light on something. Thank you. I appreciate that what's happening. Have a nice day. So, bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, this whole retrograde's been about commitment. I got to stress this. You're always in a commitment. You're always in a commitment. I don't care what relationship you're in. You're in a committed relationship. That person that won't tell you what the relationship is, that is the commitment of the relationship. Some commitments are commitments to confusion. Some commitments are commitments to confusion. Some commitments are commitments to questioning yourself every step of the way. What is important is not to recognize and ask and say, why can't this move into commitment? It's recognizing that you are already in the commitment. It is assessing what the nature of that commitment is. You can articulate upon it. You can work to build it. You can work to strengthen it. You can work to adjust it, but only in the modality that someone is willing to speak towards it. And if someone is in a modality with you where you are asking to speak about a commitment and they are resistant towards it, all they are saying is, I recognize that this is requiring commitment, but I am not in a position where I am willing to let you have the choice in articulating with me what those circumstances or situations are. You are always in a commitment from the moment you energetically connect with someone. Now, and for a lot of the energy in separation, that experience, that recognition point is a lot of the breakthrough that's occurring right now during this retrograde cycle. It's not about asking someone if they're willing to give you a commitment. It is navigating and paying attention to what the quality and characteristics are of the commitment that someone is offering you. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, And for some of the energy in separation, this is productive. This is beautiful. The ability to have someone, even in this modality here, that is able to speak towards them, even in the moment of recognizing you want different things, possibility of a new energetic commitment, isn't there? Possibility of a different energetic commitment in the ability to say, the ability to experience someone that says, I recognize that we are co-creators in that environment. Now for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, a lot of this energy that we are seeing coming into divine union right now, this is the energy that is ready to make those modifications in relationality to commitment. But that energy of commitment here, the anxiety point is, again, building into the space or place of the comfortability of where you find yourself now versus the changes that you're currently making. There's always a little volatility there. So it is kind of requiring some of that space or pace of patience right now. And so even here, having that work in terms of building trust is also part of a healthy commitment. So we see even now that for a lot of the energy navigating that space, trusting in the commitments that you're making, like trust takes time. And the only qualifier we have to a certain extent sometimes in relationality to trust is the external factor of time. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the energy that is reaffirming and recommitting the changes to the self by way of the energetic commitment. Because the energetic commitment that is healthy and restorative to such an extent, it allows the possibility to focus, to return a lot of that energy back towards the self as a result of being in an energetic connection that doesn't require you to put all of your effort and energy in terms of maintaining and keeping it like that is the gift back. Like this is the energy that's finding a new degree of solitude within partnership, specifically because of the work that you've done to create and maintain a healthy one. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here to experience it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way that you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I would encourage you to do that there. Also, a couple of updates prior to us going into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who joined us at our last class. Our next tarot class will be held on Wednesday, September 11th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our tarot journey with an exploration into the Hierophant card. If you would like to become a part of my class program, head over to my Substack, gracestrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack will grant you access and entry into each month's live classes. You will also receive access to all of the recordings and course materials for our previous classes. Also, you'll have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions in relation to anything that we've studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize the classes and your own practice to the best of your advantage as you continue your studies. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them so that they would be accessible to the absolute novice reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you if you're already joining us there, and I look forward to potentially seeing you at our next class. Even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, though, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings, services, events. I post my weekly newsletter there, which gives you a full update of my live schedule. I also post giveaway information there. Speaking about giveaways, we are now in the process of having our August giveaway. If you would like to win a free tarot reading, private tarot reading with me, there is a 2-minute travel survey on the link tree in my bio. Filling out that survey will grant you an entry in the giveaway. But if you would like to increase your chances of winning, go ahead and forward that survey to a friend, because when I pull the winner, not only will I be giving away a free reading to the person who wins, but I will also be giving a free reading out to whoever referred them to the giveaway. So thank you if you've already entered, and I wish you the best of luck of winning this month. Finally, on top of my standard life path readings, I am now offering mentorship classes. They can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly course. So that is 4 45-minute classes, one per week over the span of the month, that focus on whatever area that you are interested in studying. I take a very limited number of students for that reason. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I now offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, one per week over the span of a month, so that you can stay more consistent on your journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again